Welcome to Amazing Business Radio with best-selling author and customer service and business expert, Shep Hyken. Shep will talk with some of the smartest thinkers in business to help make you more successful in your professional and personal life. This is Amazing Business Radio with Shep Hyken.
Hello, everybody. It's Shep Hyken here. We're back with another episode of Amazing Business Radio. We have a great guest today, Christoph Senn, who is a co-author with Mehek Gandhi of a book titled Triple Fit Strategy. And it is a book about how to build lasting customer relationships and boost growth. And I am excited because this guy is one really, really smart individual. We are going to learn so much. But before we get into the interview, if you have a story about an amazing customer experience that you'd like to share or a question that you'd like me to answer, you can send those over to me on any of the social media channels. If it is a question, please use the hashtag Ask Shep. I'll answer the question you send in there on this show or in my newsletter. Why not? Go to hyken.com, hyken.com, sign up for my newsletter. Please, it's free, doesn't cost a thing. You'll also get my annual research on customer experiences. And I think you'll enjoy that. Lots of facts and findings. All right, it's time to get into this amazing conversation with Christoph Senn. Christoph, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm excited. I was sent your book by the Harvard Business Review PR team. It might have even been somebody from 40A, the PR company, I believe. The book, how to build a triple fit lasting customer relationships, the triple fit strategy. So let me just start by saying this, Harvard Business Review. I'm going to quote a Harvard professor. And by the way, I know that you are on the team over at INSEAD Grad School, which is the #1 rated European graduate school in Fontainebleau, France. I love I think of the Fontainebleau, I think of the hotel, swanky down in South Beach in Miami. But no, this is Fontainebleau near Paris. I think I want to go there more now. Anyway, let's quote senior professor, now deceased, unfortunately, Dr. Ted Levitt, who said, the function of every business is to get and keep customers. Now, if you ask people what the function of a business is, many of them say, make money, but that's the goal of the business. If you confuse the function and the goal, you don't meet your goal. And this book is all about that function of not so much getting, but the keeping of customers, the nurturing, the growing of the relationship. And that's what I love, because when you have a relationship like you're talking about in this book, it's like your customer or vendor, you're a vendor to these people. It's like on steroids. So let's start there, Christoph. Give us a quick little background on what the triple fit strategy is about, direct from the book.
Well, first of all, thank you for bringing the subject of lasting customer relationships up. And when you say a good relationship is sometimes feeling like on steroids, the good news is all what you can read in the book is legal. So we're not walking here in any danger zone. But give you the shortcut here. It matters how you handle these customer relationships, especially from our research. We have seen that there are two, I would say, extreme poles. One is the transactional vendor buyer-seller relationship. And that, of course, is not necessarily lasting, but that leads to these annual clashes, the negotiation, the punching and kicking, versus a more partnership type of approach where you really think beyond just volume and price. I would say more along the motto of the book, what if we were one company? And I think alone this question is worth considering maybe a dialogue with your customer, because it triggers a lot of ideas way beyond this transactional relationship. So it really matters which type of relationship you are aspiring for.
And I'm going to go back into my memory, and I think it was his last name was Pineda, perhaps. Anyway, he was... the goal was Ford Automotive had to cut expenses, and they had to cut costs. And rather than just go to your vendors and say, hey, we need you to give us a lower price, they sat down with them individually and said, what can we do to work together? We definitely need the lower price, but we're not trying to squeeze you on your profits. And they came up with solutions with many vendors that actually ended up, while they were able to get the product that Ford needed at a lower price, the partner versus vendor, let's call them that, made actually a higher revenue on the whole. And I'm going to use the word transaction on the interactions that the customer and the vendors had together. So we're moving from a transactional thing to an interaction type of idea where it just keeps going. And I just want to say, Christoph, your accent sounds like you're from Mississippi here in the U.S. No.
Not fully, but I grew up in Buffalo, so
there you go. Swedish accent.
In a way, but my formative
Or
years
Swiss,
were
I mean
really
Swiss
spent.
accent, excuse me, Swiss
Yeah,
accent.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
I'm looking at
it is, yes.
the red flag, Swiss, but you're living in Paris now or near Paris.
The family lives still with me included in Switzerland, but my home base, the University of INSEAD, is in Fontainebleau, south of Paris. Yes.
Wow, love it, love it. All right, back to the interview. To your point about transaction versus ongoing interactions, let's pick up there and maybe talk to us about what the basic three levels of the triple fit strategy are.
Thank you. One comment before I do that, because your example of this gentleman at Ford applying a more partnership type of relationship to their suppliers, that really brought back a memory I was experiencing in my corporate life. I just experienced it the other way around. It was the area of cost cutting, squeezing in the 80s and 90s. And you may know Jose Ignacio Lopez, the gentleman at General Motors and then at Volkswagen. And we were just facing exactly that squeezing to the last nickel and dime also when we were selling our systems and services. And that really led to nothing else than a vicious circle. And finally, in the automotive industry, there were many car recalls because the quality went below par, just in time crashed, and so squeezing your suppliers is not really a good idea, even though you may see short-term gains by just pressing your suppliers for lower prices. But the flip side, of course, is that you can expand your perspective. And that brings me to your question, these three fit levels. You have the choice, which on the one hand is good news, but also bad news, because you can still choose, I want to have just this product market fit. That's, by the way, also when we look at all the cases now, 10,000 in our database and counting, these vendor type relationships, they just focus, I got this great product or service, take it or leave it. And equally so on the customer side, it's, I just want to have the lowest price and I couldn't care less. So there you are with this single product market fit. And every now and then you may find yourself lucky and you land a deal, but it's not sustainable. I usually say you sign that for 1 year until it's undercut by a competitor with a lower price, so you're going to lose it, and then it's always this roller coaster, win, lose, win, lose. That's not sustainable. So you need a broader perspective beyond this single product market fit, and that is where our research told us there are three levels you want to have equally important on your radar. The first one is you first have to understand the strategies of both sides. So what's going on at the customer, not the things you can read in the business press or in an analyst report or from the annual meeting or whatever, but the real things, the decisions the customer is going to take with relevance for your products and services. And that is almost insider information, but you can get that if you also have the right relationships established and have also established an open, trustworthy communication, proactively managed, of course. So 3 building blocks, I call them strategies, relationships, and communication, form what we call a planning fit. That's a first logical level. And out of the planning comes the doing, or as we call it, the execution fit, where you talk about your products and services. We call it solutions. And then your processes and your systems. So you have a second layer, not less important, but just a different logic level. Solutions, processes, and systems, which help you to achieve a smooth execution of all the things you want to provide for your customer. And the third one, it's all about the resources, people, structures, knowledge. And when you bring that together, planning, execution, and resources, you have like a dashboard, a 3x3 matrix. We call it the triple fit canvas, which could be taken as a metaphor for a cockpit in an airplane, or you sit in your car and you're hopefully not just looking out of the window, you're also checking your speed or your fuel or battery charging and everything. That's how you want your pilot to fly an aircraft, but also how you should run your relationships. So it's no longer just, this is my product, the patented invention, take it or leave it. That's rarely the case. And you really have the choice whether you go for this single fit or this triple fit. And the good news, finally, to end this off, is you start creating like a shared language, because if both parties, the supplier and the customer, look together at the relationship through the same lens of analysis, you have what we call an diagnostic and action framework. So you can check not only where you are, but also where you should be going, all on one page. That's the idea of these 3 fit levels.
I like this. And I know as I'm listening to you, I'm thinking of a lot of B2B examples, business to business. However, I also think of how this applies to the B2C world. And if I'm walking into a mall, and I'll give you an example. I used to go to, she's left, unfortunately. She worked at Nordstrom, one of my favorite stores to go to. And if I'm going in to buy clothes, I would seek my partner out, not my salesperson, because she became more than a salesperson. Basically, she said, don't think of me as your salesperson. Think of me, Cindy's my wife. She goes, I'm like Cindy's alter ego. So you're here. I'm going to kind of step in. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. We're moving from you selling me clothes to you being my wife, or a version of that. We got to the point where she actually came to our home and she went into my closet and she told me what needed to go and what needed to be added. And you know what? I trusted her. And you use that word trust, which is so important. You cannot get this triple fit strategy to work without the trust of your client, customer, partner, if you want to call them that. And I think it's important to understand that even on the B2B level, with the B2C level, it all works together with what we're talking about. Let's take a real quick break. When we come back, I want to talk to you about 2 things. If we have time, we'll get into more. And again, the book is called The Triple Fit Strategy by Christoph Senn and Mihek Gandhi, who is your co-author. Great book. And it's all about building this relationship that is really unpenetrable by your competition, and it allows you to grow with your customer at a level like you've never seen before. We're going to be right back. We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. Don't go away. Shep Hyken here with an offer that won't cost you a cent. You may have heard me talk about my annual customer service and experience research. We've surveyed thousands of customers matching the U.S. Census for age, gender, ethnicity, and geography, and we find out what customers love, hate, and want in a customer experience. What's the number one customer experience that almost every customer desires? What makes them come back? What makes them leave? Why won't they fill out surveys? What do they think of AI? Well, these questions and more are answered in the research, which, by the way, is sponsored this year by RingCentral, a leader in global communications. You can download the full report by going to hyken.com and clicking on the research tab at the top. Like I said, it won't cost you a cent, but it may make you or save you thousands and thousands of dollars when you understand your customers' expectations. Again, the website is www.hyken.com.
You're listening to Amazing Business Radio with best-selling author and customer service and business expert, Shep Hyken.
We're back on Amazing Business Radio. We're talking with Christoph Senn, who is the co-author of The Triple Fit Strategy, co-authored with Mihek Gandhi. And you can get this book everywhere Amazon sells books and a whole lot of other bookstores. Harvard Business Review put this book out, and I am so glad that their PR agency reached out to me to share this. Really enjoyed learning from the book. So if products match your competitor in the form of quality and features, how do you differentiate? And this is what we've been talking about. So let's start with that thought. Take it away, Christoph.
Thank you, Shep. How do you create what you call an unbreakable relationship, whether it's a business or a consumer relationship? I think finally it depends on the trust. But how do you build the trust? Because if trust is the only differentiating factor, you certainly have to speed up because many competitors are lined up also to get in that space. Probably the best example I can share in short time is a case which I learned about 3-4 years ago when a account manager or sales rep was selling really simple commodities, ingredients for yogurt, which come usually at a very low cost, and you just have to match the FDA regulations, and that's it. And you're always pressed for price. So the customer's answer to the proposal was simply, "You are too expensive, show me the money. Why should I buy your products?" And then this account manager, clever answer was, "Well, we're not here to just lower the price and give you a short-term win, but I can help you with my products grow your business by 5%, guaranteed. But we have to
Guaranteed.
guaranteed. But then she said, I need just access to all the goods I sell to you." And then the procurement manager, of course, got interested and said, "Okay, what do you mean? You want to kind of check the whole portfolio? You're making us buying also stuff which we don't want." And she said, "Exactly. We're here to make you more successful." And then she said, "Okay, look, we have this package deal, which I was forced to sell to you through the sales script here, and you just accepted it because it was the best you could get. Now, why don't we kill these 2 stock keeping units because they don't add any value for you, but I keep my price for that product where you wanted here to lower me the price. So it's a win for you and it's a recurring win." And the customer was so impressed that the customer said, "Wow, you shouldn't be telling me that because you're a seller. You should probably rather lie to me and
Yeah.
and cover your strength, your weaknesses, and only emphasize your strengths." And then they went into a triple fit analysis in simple terms and looked at all the building blocks and find 2 more aspects where the account manager could create more value. Finally, it ended up way beyond the transactional relationship. I would even call it no longer a partnership, but really as if one company relationship. And that is something which I find fascinating when you get to that point where the customer says, "Okay, I'm not giving you the last call like a preferred supplier, but I'm giving you the first call. So wherever you go, you are the one who is called for advice." So you're really becoming not just a partner, but a business advisor. And that is our aspiration we have for the readers of the book and also the listeners to the show here, that you may also consider a broader perspective, which gets you completely in a new sphere, also in your relationships.
So I'm hearing so many messages just from this example, but one of the ones that is popping out at me is the "show me the money" comment that the buyer made. It's like, okay, how does this really help me? And if I am I'll just take it from the one company. Let's say we are operating as one company. Let's say I'm in the customer support world and I'm a CX leader and I have to implement some software, but I've got to get approval from my C-suite on spending the money. What do I need to go to get them to say yes? I need to go in with not just, here is what we're going to do, but here is what it's going to do for us. Okay. And that's usually a financially driven answer, because C-suite loves to know that the decisions they make are going to make money for the company. And we need to, and is that wrong to be thinking, if I'm the vendor and I want to be a partner, I need to show this potential customer or partner of mine, how is it why is it the right move to do business with me? And by the way, we can't just make promises. We got to make promises that are absolutely kept. A promise that's unfulfilled is just, I don't know what it is. It's a bluff.
Right.
So,
Bluffing is certainly never the right strategy. But to your point here, you can certainly get the customer in a collaboration mode if you just re-emphasize this, what if we were one company? Because then the customer usually says, okay, I still want to see the money, but if we were one company, we would probably not do all this negotiation thing. We would talk about these things. So you arrive at the customer's priorities. And from there, usually you can say, okay, what if we can help you here or here? My estimation of our support will lead to this saving or this additional growth potential. You can grow your company by 5%, or we help you to become more successful in this Asian market or whatever. So the nature of the discussion changes. So it's no longer about features, functions, benefits, and value proposition, all from the seller's perspective, where you just try to persuade a helpless customer, but you flip the perspective and you start looking together at the customer priorities and where the money really matters. And that is usually a conversation customers have, but only with those suppliers that are willingly taking that first step. Our research has also, it's not even published in this book, but it's coming up in another piece here, has shown that customers want to share important information with proactive suppliers, but not with everybody. So you want to be that one. And this sentence, what if we were one, would trigger quite a number of answers from the customer, starting with, okay, if we were one, we would talk about these things which are relevant for us. And if you can help us here, then we could also talk about how I can open doors in my company and finally get the executive level to sign off on a proof of concept or whatever it is. So I really think it's this simple. And sometimes we wonder why this has not been applied more. The only speculation I can give is that it's easier to stick to a script or a playbook on both sides. I'm in procurement. I need to cut costs by 5%, and what I will do is just ask for a price cut. That's simple, but that's not recurring, because you cannot ask for price cuts 10 years in a row, because then you're below costs and no supplier would do that. Equally so, it's not just about, okay, I give you that deal and give you the 15% discount. Again, also from a seller perspective, this is not sustainable. So what can you do to differentiate yourself vis-a-vis competition? Expand the view, talk about pain points which may not have to do with the products. So it's not about the quality or the availability. This is table stakes, but how about the processes? Are we really simplifying these processes? Could we maybe share or reallocate some tasks here? Great examples also in the book where one company said, you're the experts in drug testing, we're the experts in logistics. Why don't we take over the whole logistics, and you can save the money, not just to hit your bottom line, but you can use these savings to buy more machines for analyzing new samples and make more money. So finally, the answer to show me the money is yes, and I can show you how you can make more money. That goes well beyond the classic role understanding of a seller who just comes in as a vendor with features, functions, benefits. It becomes an orchestrator. So I usually like also the metaphor of an orchestra, where the orchestrator, the conductor, is there and makes sure that all the moving parts from both companies can act together in harmony. And that is the what if we were one, then really applied to the highest level.
Wow. Can you imagine what the lifetime value of, the LVT, lifetime value of whatever it is, the lifetime value of a customer will go up dramatically if you embrace the triple fit strategy. All right, we're out of time, and you know the final question. I want to pull something out of the book. Give us one last great idea or thought from the book, Triple Fit Strategy, How to Build Lasting Customer Relationships and Boost Growth. Give us one idea from the book that we can walk away with and go, okay, I've got to go get this. I'm excited.
Well, thank you for this opportunity. The answer is simple. I'm stealing Nike's slogan, just do it. So the credits go to Nike, but in more concrete steps, do three things. First, select a business relationship or any relationship of your choice, which
just one. Start with one. Yeah,
exactly. And then ask 10 questions as they are featured in the book. This is freely available. And then enter the dialogue with your counterparts and ask 3 questions. Why do you give us these answers? What could we do? And how are we going to do it? And as you progress over 90 days, compare how this relationship you have chosen performs vis-a-vis others. So you kind of do your own study with a proof of concept case and a control group. And I guarantee you, after 90 days, you will already see a difference and great results coming out of this one customer relationship you have selected.
Now, which means that you're going to start expanding into other customer relationships.
Definitely.
And the company that focuses on creating these one company type arrangements or partnership, as I started out to call it that, where it's even more than a partnership. Like you said, it's really one company. It's 2 companies combining into one, thinking that way. I think it's a tremendous opportunity for growth. It's going back to the first thing I said, the function of a business, according to Dr. Ted Levitt, is to get and keep your customer. It is the acquisition and the maintenance. And that maintenance, if you use this triple fit strategy, will be incredible. So, Christoph, thanks so much for these words of wisdom and this insight. Much appreciate you. This is why we call it Amazing Business Radio.
Thank you so much.
All right, everybody, that wraps it up. Another episode. We will be back next week with another interview. And until that time, this is Shep Hyken reminding you to always be amazing.